But I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Miss Wingfield. I am I'm not a native of Atlanta, but I grew up in Atlanta. I attended Frederick Douglass High School. I also attended Georgia Tech. I am a mother of two Westlake Lions. My daughter was class of 2019, and she just finished her freshman year at Florida A&M University. And my son is a current sophomore here at Westlake, class of 2023. I am the former magnet coordinator, and I am currently the IB coordinator. So of course I said, I hope we don't have any technical difficulties. And right at that point, my Teams closed on me. So I do thank you all for your patience. I'm back up now. Please let me know that you can hear me again. I will check the chat. Of
We can
course.
hear you.
Yes, we
I
can.
see you again. Yes.
Thank you. You know, whatever could go wrong is going to go wrong. But thank you so much for your all's patience this morning. Moving on, I would like to hear from the students. I want to know where everybody's from. I know that the majority of our students come from Sandtown and Camp Creek, but we have Westlake, we have magnet students here, I know, and they come from all over the place. So I would love, you guys know where I'm from. I would like to know where our students are coming from. So we have a tiny URL right here that just has some options. It's anonymous, but I would love for us to see what this freshman class is made up of, so we can see the variety that we have. So if you can either scan the QR code or type the tiny URL, it's just one question. And I would love to know where this class is from. So if you click on the tiny URL, it should take you to a questionnaire, and it just says, where did you attend 8th grade? And if we can respond, then I can actually show you all where our students are coming from. Let me. All right, do you guys see the results of the questionnaire? So we see a lot of people from Sandtown, but we've got some from private schools. We've got some from public schools other than South Fulton public schools, a few KIPP South Fulton. We've got McNair in here. I'm gonna keep refreshing it so we can see. So we've got some variety in here, so we can't assume that everybody's coming from the same place last year. So it's wonderful. The one thing I do love about Westlake and in the 7 years that I've been here is the variety of students that we have because of our magnet program and how the students are able to come from all over. All right, so moving on back to the presentation. I want to let you guys know what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to introduce you to the counseling and administration, virtual expectations, which Dr. Larry went over with the parents. But like I said, this was aimed at the students. A little fun game of who you're going to call, where do you go for issues, academic basics, a little bit about the IB programs, and then something about how to be successful at Westlake. If we have any time at the end, I will take some very specific questions to this presentation at that time. All right, so our students are separated by last name for their counselors. And so you will see above that A through DA is for with Dr. Owens, DB through I with Mrs. Crawford, J through O with Ms. Harrison, P through SE with Mrs. Jackson, SF through Z with Mrs. Perry. All magnet students, regardless of last name, are going to have the counselor, Miss McAdoo. So it's really important. It's wonderful. These students, ours is based on last name and not grade level. So you will have the same counselor. You should have the same counselor for all 4 years. That way your student can get familiar with the counselor. You can be familiar with the counselor, because come senior year, it will be your counselors writing your recommendations for college. So what services do the counselors provide? Of course, we all know that they do scheduling, but they do so much more than scheduling. They do fall advisement with our students. They do help them with their course selection, but they also help with college and career planning, goal setting, making sure our students stay on track for graduation, college applications and recommendations. If your student is having an issue and they need someone to talk to, the counselor is going to be their first line of contact. And if they need to be referred to the school social worker, the counselor will do so as well. Also, if you need to withdraw or you need assistance with choosing what academic placement you have as your student matriculates through Westlake and gets more options for courses in their sophomore, juniors, and senior years, the counselors are going to be the ones who help them with this. So who's who in administration? I know Dr. Larry went over this with the parents, but hopefully there's some students on here so they can see. Mr. Robinson, of course, we know is the principal. Ms. Johnson is the curriculum assistant principal, and she's over student services. Dr. Larry, who you met this morning, is the 9th grade assistant principal. Ms. Oliver is a 10th grade assistant principal. Ms. Hankerson, 11th grade administrator, and Mr. Menace is a 12th grade assistant principal. Now, we do have the benefit of having a few more people on what is considered our administrative staff. So Coach Green, our athletic director, is also considered an administrator. Dr. Love and Ms. Vaughn are 2 new administrators we have coming on this year. Ms. Hickman is our magnet coordinator, and she is over testing. And myself, Ms. Wingfield, I am the IB coordinator. So you have a number of administrators to use as a resource if you have concerns about things. You know, of course, we want the 9th graders mostly to refer to Dr. Larry. But as we transition back into the building, would hope that the students know that they could reach out to any one of these administrators at any point that they may need assistance. All right, so let's talk about our virtual do's and don'ts. So Dr. Larry did speak this morning about the dress code. So our students should be adherent to all of the remote learning expectations and rules as indicated this morning, including dress code. Each teacher will have the ability to have some flexibility in their norms and their expectations with their students, just like you would have class rules being different from one class to another. So we expect our students to follow all of the teacher's instructions and be engaged. Attendance will be recorded, so we want the students to be logged on and prepared for instruction by 8:20. Now, if you are coming from a Fulton County middle school, your student will keep the device that was issued at the middle school. until a later date. So you will still keep that same device. Any student who is new to Fulton County or does not have a device from last year, there will be device deployment from August 3rd to August 14th, and Mr. Robinson will send out information about that. All right, the don'ts of virtual instruction. So inappropriate usage of a Fulton County issued device will result in disciplinary action. So even though these devices are at home, they are not your personal devices. They do belong to the school. So no screenshots during instructional time. Yes, ma'am. No visiting of unapproved websites. No use of social media, etc., on the school issued device. And inappropriate conversations in the chat during class may result in disciplinary consequences.
Testing. Question, does this also mean, it's a very good question, I think another parent asked, so students can't screenshot academic content that is shown during class?
So at this time, our rule is no screenshots during instructional time, just for a lot of reasons. Now, if that gets adjusted for content or for notes that they may want to screenshot, that will come at a later time. But at this time, it's no screenshots at all during instructional time.
Testing.
Ma'am, we hear you.
Oh, okay, just testing.
All right, so I've introduced the administrators, I've introduced the counselors, we've talked about the do's and the don'ts. Now we're gonna get the chat a little active because we're gonna play a little game for the students. And it's who you're gonna call. So as a ninth grader, a lot of times they don't know who is the first point of contact for some things that may happen. I know in this virtual environment, it is not the same as when we are in the building, but there are still some issues that may arise, and our students may not know who to contact or who to reach out to get some assistance. So I have about 4 questions that I'm gonna ask, and in the chat, I would like you all to respond. Your options are going to be the ninth grade administrator, any administrator, your teacher, or your counselor. Okay, so you are enrolled in the wrong class. Who is going to be the first point of contact if you're enrolled in the wrong class? All right, it looks unanimous there. Counselor, yes, your counselor is going to be your first point of contact. Whether the parent or the student is going to be the first point of contact. All right, next. You overheard that someone took a screenshot of a test and is sharing it on social media. What is your first point of contact? Oh, we don't have a consensus on this one. All right, so we did not have a consensus, but your first point of contact, guys, with anything happening in the classroom, first point of contact is going to be the teacher. Yes, this is something that is significant and will end up in an administrator's hand, but anything that happens in the classroom or with the classwork, your first line of defense is going to be the teacher. All right, you're absent and you need to know what you missed. Awesome. We've got a consensus again. Yes, yes. If you are absent, it is up to you to go to the teacher and ask the teacher what it was that you missed, as far as the lesson was concerned, and if there is any makeup work that you need to submit. Also, be very specific. Ask what day or time that teacher wants you to submit that work, on your absence, okay? So please, students, you do not wait on the teacher to reach out to you. I always tell students, you have 8 teachers to communicate with. The teachers have about 180 students. So it is on you to take the initiative to ask the teacher what it is that you missed. All right, you are having an issue with another student and trying to avoid it escalating. Who would you talk to? All right, there's not a lot of consensus in this one either. So the person that you should go to is going to be your grade level administrator. So it's going to be Dr. Larry. Now, if you cannot find Dr. Larry, any administrator would be great. Your counselors can help you and can help talk you down from a ledge if you are extremely emotional at that time. But the administrators help to manage mediations, conversations with the other student, and really help to get to the root of the problem so that we can avoid things happening where you may get a disciplinary consequence or the other student may get a disciplinary consequence. But it's really important, if you are trying to do the right thing, that you make sure your administrator knows that I am trying to do the right thing. I am trying to avoid this issue from escalating, and I want to let you know that. Please help me. So that would be your first line of defense. All right, and you need a recommendation for a summer program. This is the last one. All right, this was a tricky one, and I see Benjamin did say all of the above. So for college, the only person who can do your recommendation for college is going to be, there's a counselor and there's a teacher for college. But for summer programs, unless it is specified, you really can choose anyone in the building that you have a good relationship with that can actually speak to your character, how good a student you are, going above and beyond. So the summer programs are where you can reach out to just about anybody unless the application specifies someone in particular. So that could be an administrator, it could be your magnet coordinator, the IB coordinator, anybody in the building. All right, guys, thank you so much for playing that game with me. So now back to business. Let's talk about academic basics. We offer in our building, we offer 4 levels of courses. We offer on-level, honors, advanced placement, IB diploma program courses in our building. And our students are also eligible for dual enrollment classes. So on-level courses are going to be general education classes that all students are eligible to take. Honors courses are classes that require a recommendation from a teacher or a request and sometimes a waiver from the parents. Advanced placement courses are college level courses. They are available beginning in 9th grade. Not many students take them in 9th grade, but they are available beginning 9th grade. They require an official exam in May and the potential for college credit, okay? The IB diploma program courses are advanced courses offered in the 11th and the 12th grade. Most of the courses do span over both of those years, although there are a few courses here and there that are only 1 year. But students are not eligible to take diploma classes until the 11th grade. They require an official exam in May after the completion of the course. So if you're in a 1-year IB course, you will take it at the end of that 1 year. If you are in a 2-year course, you will take it in May of your senior year. And IB courses also have the potential for college credit. The dual enrollment courses are classes that are taken at a local college. It requires an application to that college and acceptance to that college. So you can't just decide you want to go and automatically think that you're going to get in. It is the responsibility of the family to investigate the application requirements, the SAT requirements, all of those things for the dual enrollment program. And there's a process that you must go through in the building that starts around February for the students to be eligible to take those courses. If a student is a dual enrollment student, they are enrolled both in Westlake and in the college. Now, the honors, AP, and IB courses all have an additional 7 points that are added to the final grade. So the example listed below, you see at the bottom of the screen, shows the 7 points. Now, in order to earn the 7 points, your grade at the end of the semester must be a passing grade. So for example, if you got a 90 at the end of the semester in your 9th grade literature course, you would earn the 7 points and the grade on your transcript would be a 97. However, if you're in the biology honors course and you earn a 68, you did not pass that course. So you don't get the additional 7 points and your grade will remain a 68. Dual enrollment courses have bonus points as well, but that is after the official college sends us what the official grade is. It takes a little bit longer than it does for our internal grades. All right, so this morning, Dr. Larry did speak about MYP. Okay, so if you are familiar with the IB program, the majority of people are familiar with the diploma program. That is what we have had at Westlake since 2016. Those are the courses offered in the 11th and 12th grade. They are specialized curriculum, and you have to take certain prerequisite classes before you get in, and you have to take an exam at the end. MYP is also an IB program, but it is very different. The middle years program is for grades 6 through 10. And so in our building, that would be 9th and 10th graders. We are in the final stages of the application process of becoming an official MYP authorized school. This 9th grade class will be our first class of official MYP students. What does that mean? That means that every single 9th grader at Westlake is considered an IB MYP student. So it doesn't mean you're going to have new classes. It doesn't mean you're now going to be on an AP or honors track. MYP is a different approach to teaching students. It takes the same curriculum, so the same algebra, the same environmental science, and the approach to the curriculum is more problem solving, hands-on. It helps the students to be more inquisitive about their learning. And so the looking at things through the MYP lens helps our students to do better in their higher level courses as they go through their time here at Westlake. It also helps to encourage lifelong learning. So our students, it helps to encourage a love for learning, a love for inquiring. And so that's why we think it's the best thing we can do for our students in the building. And so, like I said, all of our freshmen, everyone logged on right now, is going to be considered an MYP student in our school. And we hope that through this process and through MYP, we can help to facilitate a greater love for learning so that our students want to take more higher level courses, or maybe it helps to pique their interest in something and they can find a passion and find a career that they can love, and not just one where they'll end up making money, but one where they can enjoy what they're doing as they go through life. All right, so I know you saw this bell schedule earlier with Dr. Larry, so I just wanted to remind you all. And as freshmen, I really, really need our freshmen to know that this is the big leagues. This is high school. So this is not middle school anymore, and we are helping to prepare them for the real world. So in order to be successful here at Westlake, we really encourage our students to take ownership and responsibility for their learning and for their behaviors. It's important that our students be organized and to keep an agenda, especially in this environment, to complete their homework and class assignments on time. So yes, we have an A-B schedule, but it's important that our students, when they get a class assignment on an A day, they complete it on that A day, and they leave the B day for the B day classes. It doesn't mean you have 2 days to do your homework. You actually just have 2 days with 2 different sets of classes. So stay on top of things. It's harder to get yourself out of a hole than it is to just stay on top of the ground. Study consistently. Even when there isn't homework, it's important to just look over the information, because that's one thing our students don't do, and that really is what hurts the students on tests, is that they only complete homework. But there's a difference between completing homework and studying. And so parents who are online right now, I want to encourage you to help the students to understand the difference between completing an assignment and studying so that they can be more successful. One thing I always say is do not suffer in silence. If you need some assistance, reach out. The moment you don't understand what's going on, let the teacher know. Do not let Unit 1 and Unit 2 and Unit 3 pile on top of each other and you are confused on day 3. Okay, so it's really important that our students take ownership and advocate for themselves, and when they need help, to seek it. Get involved and make connections. It's really important. The students that are involved in clubs and organizations and sports and get to know Westlake outside of just going to classes are the ones that have the better time here at the school, and they are more successful. All right, so at this time I have about 8 minutes before the next session, and I want to open it for general questions about this presentation, not anything about virtual learning or rules and things like that, just this presentation. AB schedule, yes. So our students have 8 courses on their schedule, but they only attend 4 each day. So there's an A day schedule, periods 1 through 4, and a B day schedule, periods 1 through 4. So on the AB schedule, the students will go to A1, let's say Monday, and then they will go to B1 on Tuesday. It will go back to A1 on Wednesday, and then B1 on Thursday. Ms. Woods, does that make sense? All right.
I have a question. What about, I see here on the schedule that you have shown, class starts at 12:20, then there's a gap of time, transition 150 to 155, and then block 4. Is that additional social emotional learning modules or reading time? What is that block of time?
So in between this block of time, let me pause and just address the Friday question really quickly, because that's a piggyback on my last question. You all, it just continues to rotate. So it's just every other day. So every week it's different. This week, Monday is an A day, Wednesday is an A day, Friday is an A day. The following week, Tuesday is an A day, Thursday is an A day. So it just continues to rotate back and forth between A and B. With respects to this lunch block, right? So the lunch block begins at 11:30. From 11:30 to 11:50, there will be social emotional learning modules or DEAR time. From 11:50 to 12:20 is the lunch break itself. And then class time starts at 12:20 and ends at 1:50. So the block 3 starts at 11:30, but there's the SEL learning and DEAR, lunch, and then actual class begins at 12:20 and ends at 1:50. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we've got a couple more minutes. At 8:20, are students expected to be logged into their first scheduled class? Yes. Yes, they are. So as of right now, if you were already assigned AP and honors classes, they will continue to have those classes. Yes, that is true. When I'm sorry, I do not know offhand, remember offhand when freshman open house is. If there is an administrator or another staff member in the chat who can definitively say, please respond to that question. Will the students automatically meet requirements for the IB diploma program since they are in MYP? No, they will not. The one thing about the IB diploma program, because the classes last for 2 years, some of the subjects, your student may not meet the graduation requirements by the 10th grade. So like math and science have very specific graduation requirements that limit students from being able to take an IB course their junior and senior years. But for language arts, it's going to be about exposure to high level curriculum and your grades. So your students will be eligible for IB at that time. But MYP is just an approach to teaching the curriculum. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are ready for the rigor of the diploma program, because MYP is going to be incorporated in every class from small group, special ed courses all the way through AP courses in the 9th and the 10th grade year. So it's just the approach to teaching the instruction, not necessarily the rigor of what is being taught in the classroom. Let me scroll back down.
Ms. Wingfield.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Miss Quincy. I'm the one that asked the question about the open house.
Yes.
I remembered, and it may not have been open house is what you called it, but in the earlier part of your presentation, you had talked about there was going to be something happening on August the 14th or 15th or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know if it was
August.
called open house.
So August 3rd through I know what you're talking about now. August 3rd through the 14th is our device deployment, but we will be having a school-wide open house on August 14th, and
Okay.
it will be virtual.
Okay. May I
Yes.
ask a second question?
Yes.
In your presentation, you also had a slide about the dress code. Are you only including the dress code because, of course, we're expecting the kids to start back going to school in person? So you're just covering that for the sake of just covering that in for the orientation?
No, there's a dress code for virtual. There were reports of students not dressed appropriately in the spring when they reported to their teams meetings. So there is an appropriate dress. You know, boys need to have shirts on, girls need to not have spaghetti straps and things like that. So there's still a dress code with the virtual environment because of the cameras being on. Just because you're in your home doesn't mean that it's not disruptive still.
That's good. That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome. There is about 1 more minute for the next session. What I will do is in this chat, I will answer the questions, but I do not want to hold us up for the schedule continuing on. I really appreciate your time and your attention, families, and I hope you enjoy the rest of today's sessions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello,
Yes.
Ms. Wingfield. Hey,
Yes, ma'am.
this is I was wondering, are you all going to have the sessions on the